There are a lot of reasons people don't like me. I'm way too honest, and yes, I know myself really well, so I know that to be 100% true. But there's nothing wrong with honesty. Unless you're a radical feminist or a liberal, then honesty is like men. No matter how much you need it, you'll bitch and complain until it takes off to have an affair with a Russian stripper. The best thing about being brutally honest is that in order to be insulted by anybody who doesn't like hearing what I have to say, I first have to value that person. And I do not value anybody who supports socialism, left-wing ideology, or radical feminism. I mean, who wants to conversate with a beached whale who has hair as short as Sinead O'Connor and arms like Stallone? If radical feminists think they know everything, then they should know when to shut the fuck up. I'll tell you what, if you're a butch radical feminist, you need to focus on how to put your makeup on properly before you start worrying about what men are apparently doing to make your life miserable. Because there's a fine line between wearing your makeup the right way and looking like you just got face fucked by Crayola. No, but seriously, I support feminism, I do. I support classic feminism. The kind of feminism that wants real equality for women in parts of the world where inequality is still a major issue that those women face today. But you have to know that if you live in the Western world, countries like America, Australia, the UK, New Zealand, countries like ours don't have inequality issues that affect a majority of women. I'm not saying those issues are completely gone, but what I am saying is that it's very easy to prove that you don't have to worry about having your baby shooter kicked in every night just because you start eating your KFC before your husband does. But for women in India, that's a regular occurrence. Women in our country can drive any vehicle a man can drive. Although some people argue that you shouldn't, especially if you're Asian. But the point is, there is nothing stopping you. But if you're a woman in Saudi Arabia, you're only given the legal right to drive a regular shitbox car as of 2018. Gay women and gay men can both marry their partners where we live. Let's see you try and get away with that in the Middle East or Africa. I don't have a problem with feminists speaking up for women's rights. I have a problem with feminists blaming all men for every single bad thing that happens to women. I have a problem with feminists playing the victim card because men didn't treat women properly hundreds of years ago. I have a problem with feminists using the actual inequality problems that women in Saudi Arabia and Africa and the Middle East still suffer through today as a scapegoat to further their own radical agenda about why every man is a cunt. Listen, if you're out there saying that every man has beaten you for eating food before him, or made sure a law passed so that you can't drive any vehicle that you need to drive, then you're going to have a look in the mirror to find the cunt. Because the cunt is you. Labels mean something. They always have. If I was a rapist, and I'm not, I know, shocking, right? A white male who isn't guilty of rape, I know, but seriously, if I was a rapist and I was asked if I agreed with the reasons or motives of other rapists, and I said, no, I don't, it would be fair, very fair, to say that I'm a hypocritical scumbag who denies that I am in the same category as other rapists. It's the same as being a feminist. If you claim to not agree with other modern feminists about the downright inaccurate and, in some cases, illegal things they say about men, then you are a lying piece of shit. If you wear a label, you wear all of that label, and you accept all of the consequences that go with it. Otherwise, you can admit right now, or I'll do it for you, that you're lying about who you are, and are therefore still a piece of shit for just trying to fit in with an ideology that you don't really agree with. If you introduce yourself as a leftist or a feminist to me, and you have so much as one agreeing idea with any of these radical wastes of space, then you can accept that I don't care if you think you can disagree with most of what they say and be better than them. You wear the label, you wear everything that comes with it. That's that. That is just that. You can learn to deal with it. Due process was a thing, before radical feminism took that away. The legal requirement that the law must respect all legal rights that are owed to a person. Now, that died during the height of the Me Too movement, which is a socialist movement, by the way. Let me destroy any chance for some feminist cunt to take what I'm saying out of context, although someone will still be stupid enough to try. The human brain is apparently a very advanced tool, but I digress. If you are a legitimate victim of rape or any form of sexual violence at the hands of any other person, I stand with you. And I hope the prick responsible gets exactly what they deserve and more. But my moral belief extends both ways. If you are a manipulative piece of shit who has made false accusations against another person just so you can get some money and sympathy, I hope you get exactly what you deserve and more. Unfortunately, most, not all, but most, people accused by women within the Me Too movement have been denied their right to due process, under the guise of victimhood and social justice. This is just bullshit. Social justice is not justice. The term itself is defined as justice served by the people, not by the system. There was someone else in history who destroyed a system in favour of pushing his own social justice system. His name was Hitler. Feminazi isn't just an insult used by people like me to piss people like them off. Although it's funny to see them get triggered by it, it is a factual terminology used to describe them for who they really are. Now, I think it was a pretty nice segue into the next topic. Socialism and why Nazis are left-wing and not right-wing, like everyone on the left wants you to believe. The dumbest argument I get all too commonly from a leftist when I point out that Nazis were socialist is the whole, let's pretend this guy is retarded attitude. And then they pull the full condescending Australian attitude. Oh, how sweet. Kevin Dean thinks Nazis were socialist. Bless him. How do you figure that one, Kevin? If I was a leftist, I'd be the gayest, most condescending prick ever, right? My impression game is on fleek, though. How do I figure that Nazis were socialist? Well, maybe, just maybe because the name of Hitler's party was the National Socialist German Workers' Party. That might just be a little bit of a dead giveaway. Just a tiny bit. You fucking idiots! How do you not know that Nazis were socialist? There's a thing called the internet, and a book, and historical records, for those of us who can fucking read. But Kevin, what's your point? Social justice comes from socialism, and socialism is born from Marxism. Karl Marx was a German philosopher and one of the first documented leftists ever. How does a subject that relates and is built from a left-wing ideology become a right-wing ideology? Think about it, you fuckwits. It's not hard, it just takes a little bit of brain power. But Kevin, how do you explain Hitler's fascist, racist bigotry? That's a Trump thing. The Democratic Party, who are left-wing, by the way, started and funded the KKK. They started the Civil War based on white superiority. Not Abraham Lincoln, who was right-wing. He freed minorities from the grasp of the left-wing Democrats. That's how I fucking explain it. And it's a fact. Everything I just said is a documented and provable fact. And none of those facts give a fuck about your feelings. So you calling leftists Nazis, Kevin Dean? Is that what you're doing? On the record, you bet your left fucking tit I am. Because you are. Anybody who supports socialism or a socialist ideology, including social justice, which is rooted in socialism, is a goddamn Nazi, and you can fucking print that. And you don't deserve to breathe the same air as everyone else because you're a fucking piece of scum. Oh, I'm sorry, am I supposed to say nice things about Hitler and his ideology? My bad, go fuck yourself. How's that for nice?